New details on a shooting we first brought you yesterday morning. A man killed in South LA on Halloween night is the son of a former rap executive and alleged former gang leader.
34-year-old Jabari Henley is the son of Eugene Henley, better known as Big U. Eugene Henley once managed Nipsey Hussle and is alleged to be the former leader of the Rollin' 60s Crips gang. Police say Jabari was shot and killed near Figueroa and 69th Street after he walked up to a vehicle and someone inside opened fire before driving off. Police say his father's gang ties are a major part of the investigation.
Good afternoon. This is Afternoon Sky. I'm your host, Sky. Well, this is just a question. Y'all can answer it all y'all want. I don't know. Y'all are the believers in Jesus and God and all that. Was Big U's son, Huey, as he was called, was he a sacrifice for the Los Angeles Dodgers to win the World Series back to back? Is that a fact? Is that part of faith? Is that part of reality of non-reality? What is that? When you have somebody that has to be killed in order for a sports team to win a game, is that part of the game? Is that part of the truth? Is that part of the reality? I'm asking you. I'm an atheist. I'm a non-believer in the theory of God. A lot of people say, you can't prove that there is a God, and you can't prove that there isn't a God. Well, you're never asked to call. You're never called upon to prove or a negative. So I'm just putting that question out there because I know it's Sunday. I know y'all coming home from church. I know y'all coming home from different places of worship and prayer and music and study of the Bible and the Word and all that. So I'm just getting it out there. I think that's the only video I can play. Everybody else has commercials or it's somebody else's intellectual property. So I can't really play too many other videos, I don't think. That was the only one. So that is the reality of it. So I just want that to be made clear. The reality of people's perceptions. It's all about perception. Do you actually believe that there was a sacrifice that was laid out? Big U's son had a murder charge attached to his name. His brother plays for the Los Angeles Chargers. Dion Henley or Dion Henley. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but yeah. So this is what I'm on right now. I'm on that type of time. I'm on that type of time. The Los Angeles Dodgers in fantastic fashion won the World Series with a home run in the 11th inning. That was extraordinary. That was that just was like eye-opening. But could they have done it if on Halloween night Huey was not gunned down in the streets allegedly by the 7483 Hoovers gang? I'm not even sure if they were Crip. They didn't say. I just saw 7483 Hoover. I hope I'm saying that right. I think it's 7483 or 7384. Can't remember. Let me make 100% sure. Well, the 74 Hoover Criminals Gang. Okay. So it's the 74 Hoovers. Looks like they're repping. Let me see. Okay, they used to be Crips, and they're part of a larger Hoover Criminals Gang. Huh. They have rivals including the Rolling 60s. I think that was Nipsey Hussle. 76 East Coast Crips, Shotgun Crips, Insane Crips, Hussein, 79 Mad Swan Bloods, along with the Menlo Crips. So they're against everybody, the Crips and the Bloods. Oh, this is crazy. Wow. Okay. So that's what we're riding on. We're riding on sacrifice. In baseball, there's a sacrifice. So was there a sacrificial offering for Huey, for Big U's son, to be killed, to be shot down like a dog in the street? What is that what it took for them to win the World Series? I'm just going by the logic of faith. That's what faith says. This is not rationality. This is not truth. This is not causality. This is not anything related to anything of substance, of reason, of thought. This is just teasing an idea, since the majority of people have faith in their lives instead of reason completely. I'm just asking the question. I'm asking the question. Does the fact that the LA Dodgers won the World Series, does that quote unquote correlate to the shooting death of Big U's son Huey? That's what I'm asking. I'm asking to clarify. Jabari Henley. That's his name, Jabari Henley. Was Jabari Henley? Did he have to be sacrificed? I mean, this is not just Christian. This is a lot of religions actually. A lot. Well, I hate to say the word R word. I meant faith. Excuse me, faith. That's better terminology. Faith. Different cultures have had sacrifice for the crop season, for the harvest. For if they had a bad year, if one year, and then they would have to take a baby or some old man or young person. It doesn't matter. They would have to sacrifice them. They would have to set them on fire or have them being eaten by animals or something like that, or put them onto a post and have them stoned to death. History is vicious. That is a vicious history, but it's true. It's actually true. So I'm just exploring this notion. I'm exploring the notion of whether or not there was a sense that he could have been sacrificed. Now, Big U, like I said, I think he's still behind bars in a jail. He hasn't gone to prison yet. His trial doesn't start till May of 2026, next year. So it's going to be a little while for him, to really see what justice is like. Sad to say his son had to die, but was that all part of the game? Was that part of the game? Was that part of the playbook? In order for the city of Los Angeles to get another W, they had to get an L from Big U's camp, from his son, who had, also, like I said, an association with a murder on his own. It's pretty crucial. It's crucial. So that's like the main draw. That's the main case. That's what it's all about. Sacrifice. Like, and other people, I guess it says in the Bible, or it goes around, obedience is better than sacrifice. But sacrifice is never good. Sacrifice is evil. You should never sacrifice. A sacrifice is giving up a greater value for a lesser value. That's all sacrifice is. And that's the worst thing you can possibly do, is to sacrifice. Everybody thinks it's a virtue. Oh, I sacrificed for my kids. I sacrificed to get this job. I sacrificed to keep food on the table. No, you're not sacrificing. That's not a sacrifice. I wanted to, I stepped in front of the bullet to save my son. Sadly, that's kind of ironic that I should say that, but but people say that, that's not a sacrifice. A sacrifice is if you push him in front of the bullet and allowed him to die, depending on your love or your appreciation of your son, that would be a sacrifice, and that would be an evil and vicious sacrifice. Same thing with your child. Feeding my children is a sacrifice. No, not feeding your children is a sacrifice. If you let your neighbor's children or your worst enemy's children, let them have a meal, that's a sacrifice. And that's what people don't really understand. And that's the thing about Christianity, because they're like, so be it. Yeah, give to your enemy, give to your worst, give to your neighbor, give to your enemy. And that's the best part about doing it. That's the best part about Christianity. That's what the world we live in, which we live. We live in twisted tales. I always say we have 21st century technology and first century morality. That's the reality of we have right now. I'll say it again. We have a 21st century technology and first century morality, and that does not coincide well. This does not commingle really all that well. Just taking the time to realize that is a tall task. It's a tall order, heavy task to fill out, because people are so enamored by faith and God and all this stuff, and it's like, how in the world are you even considering this? How is this possible? I got one person in here. Put a 1 up or something in the live chat. If you're in the live chat, let me know you're in here. Now you're going. Okay, 0. 1 0 1 0 1 0 all day. It's gonna be 1 0. So one of those days, that's cool. Maybe it is the title. I don't know, but I just thought that would be grab people's attention. Huh? Was Yui just a sacrifice for the Dodgers to win the World Series? Do you believe that? Do you have faith in that? Or say, oh no, Scott, you crazy, man. One thing doesn't have to do with the other. Oh, really? So, when people say the angels were around me today, and I could have got hit by that car, I could have gotten shot today going down the street or whatever the case is. The angels were around me. Were the angels around Jabari? Were the angels around Jabari Henley? I ask you. When are the angels? Oh, well, they were, they were on break or something. I don't. Nobody has an answer for that. And no weapon formed against me shall prosper. Well, that weapon prospered like a mug. It certainly did prosper against Yui. Certainly did prosper. That weapon prospered like you know what. I'm trying not to cuss. But it certainly prospered. That's the thing, though. There's such a get out of jail free / trump card, or some kind of way of explaining away everything. Well, it was his time. Oh well, he had his run. He has to be with the Lord now. God wanted him more. Jesus wanted him more. Like, really? Is that the facts? Is that true? How did Jesus want him more? Why is Jesus the ultimate poster boy for sacrifice? Why is he needing him more? Why couldn't Yui just live out his life? I question that. I wonder about that. If you're in the live, if you're in here, just put a 1 up in the live chat so I know who you are, where you are, and if you're breathing. So I'm totally not just talking to myself right now, which I don't have a problem doing. I'll have a 6-hour show just talking to myself. That's fine with me. But I just want to know if anybody else is in here. Yeah. So they pick and choose. They jump over conclusions. They flip side. Rick James, yes, 1 up washing dishes while watching Facey. You meant fact, I guess. Okay. Salute to you, Rick James. Keep washing those dishes. Did you know about the Big U son shooting? Jabari Henley. Did you know about that, Richard James? Or am I the first one bringing you the news and you have to applaud me? I applaud you. Well, I appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, and you. I appreciate your applause. But I would appreciate also if you read the story. There's 3 links above, right above your name. Big U son gunned down. Go to that page and scroll down and share. That's all I can say. Now I got 3 people in here. See, it takes a little bit of time. It's like getting a car warmed up. 2 people, 3 people, and then it's going to go up to like maybe 6 or 7 sometimes, maybe 10, 12,000, 33 million. That's a lot, but I'm just being, facetious. Yeah. Sacrifice. The World Series, the champions, back-to-back champs. Did they need a sacrifice? Rick James says, I'll read it, sir, and if I find it valuable, I will share it. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. If you don't find it valuable, don't share it. If you think it's trash, you think it's corny, you think it's whack, don't share it. Keep it to yourself. And don't even keep it to yourself. Don't even read it. Don't tell other people not to read it. Do what you got to do. But I got to get these reads up. I got to get these views up. So, yeah. Is he a sacrifice? Is Jabari Henley a sacrifice? Did he have to die in order for the Los Angeles Dodgers to live? Is that part of your reasoning or your justification or your rationalization? That's the best word. Not even reasoning or justification, but rationalization that Jesus is Lord and your Savior of your sins. I mean, I was just thinking about that today. I was thinking like, at least people are thinking about morality. That's the thing that goes back eon. I don't know about eons, but more, over 1,000 years, thousands and thousands of years. There had to be a sense of what had to be moral. They used to sacrifice animals. They used to sacrifice people. They used to sacrifice anything, fruits, vegetables, anything, and say, this is for the gods. You had the Greek god Nike. They would sacrifice to her so they can win races and stuff like that. I mean, it's that's what she was the goddess of victory, Nike. And just like the Greek mythology, just like the Roman mythology, just like any mythology, it could go away and be relegated to just mythology. Christianity is holding on by Islam and Judaism are all holding on to, I don't know what. I'm waiting for the day where they become relegated to mythology, just completely mythology, not faith or anything like that. Just they used to believe that. I want to one day I want a kid to say, wow, they used to believe that. Really? Oh my God! Instead of saying, yeah, we still believe that. one day to be like that. So I'm just calling on people to come to task. Come, let me hear your story. What do you think? I'm crazy, but am I crazy? Was Huey just a sacrifice for the Dodgers to win the World Series? That's a legitimate question, especially on a Sunday, especially on a day after church. You know, you're coming home from church, and your head's being filled with all these ideas. It's irony all the way around. I love them to death, but my family members, people close to me, family members, are always trying to correct and show, or that's, this is this and that and that, and trying to find out the truth, trying to find out what's real, and say, like, don't do that because that's going to confuse the children. Like, don't say that because that can confuse them. Well, it's the irony, right? Wouldn't it confuse more people that, if they're going to church and learning that there's this thing called communion and there's a representation of cannibalism? I mean, isn't that kind of confusing, don't you think? I would think so. I would think that's really confusing. Like, we're not really supposed to eat other people's body and drink of their blood, are we? No. That's just representation. It was just a metaphor. It was just a thought rather than an actual practice. And we just drink, grape. We eat little wafers and drink grape juice just to remind ourselves that Jesus died for our sins. We have to do this at least once a month. I mean, it's amazing. The irony is overwhelming. That's what I was always struggling with. I mean, when I first was encountered communion, I always just wanted to see what the wafer and the juice tasted like, wherever it was. I just wanted to see what it was like. Or the crack at that time was a cracker. It was a cracker and some juicy juice or something like that. And I just wanted to see what it tasted like. My mom was like, no, you can't have any. And I was like, why? Why not? And she was like, well, you haven't been baptized, and you haven't been saved, and you haven't been baptized, and you haven't become a new member of a church, and you had to, the whole thing. I later years in my teens, I actually accepted the idea of being a Christian, and so I accepted the idea of the communion. And I had to be a new member. Then I had to be, I wanted to go on the youth choir. So I had to be voted in to be the youth choir. A few years later, I was voted the president of the youth choir. So I think I'm on the road of the devil, of Satan, of Lucifer. He was in the high choir. My birthday equates out to 666. I mean, it all makes sense. But does this make sense? Was Huey just a sacrifice for the Dodgers to win the World Series? That's the question. Was he a sacrifice? Was he put up? Was he shot down? Was he executed based on the fact that LA needed to win another win? Kendrick Lamar has been winning. I mean, I think so much that he was taken off the billboard. I mean, for what I understand, it was the good for being the good, if I'm not mistaken. Kendrick Lamar being taken off the billboard. Is that right? Someone correct me if I'm wrong. My dumb ass, I don't know. But it seemed like he was on there so much that they had to stop it or something. That's what I understand it as. I could be wrong. But it is interesting to contemplate this whole situation because everybody's talking about sacrifice. The military, sacrifice. Oh, he jumped on a grenade to save his Marines. It was a sacrifice. No, that's not a sacrifice. A sacrifice would be to take the grenade, throw it at his fellow Marines, and then run away out of the blast zone. That would be a horrific sacrifice. That's a sacrifice. He crawled through a minefield and over barbed wire, and went in and saved 3 or 4 naval personnel. That was a sacrifice. No, it wasn't. If he decided to not go and save the naval personnel, that would be a sacrifice. We have it so backwards. It's back assward. Back assward. It's totally messed up. It's corrupt. Our whole thinking, our whole system of ethics and morality is corrupt. Corrupted by faith and the theory of God. It's completely corrupt. Totally. It's sad. It really is sad that Yui had to die, allegedly, as a sacrifice for the LA Dodgers. I mean, right? You don't think that makes sense? That doesn't make sense? Well, tell me about Christianity. How much of that makes sense? Oh, no, well, that's just... it was just a story to illustrate the whole point. No. Now I'm back to a coconut. Back to a donut. 0 people watching. That's fine. I can continue. Big U's son, Jabari Henley, and his other son, Dion Henley, one of the players for the Los Angeles Chargers. You know, it just seems really weird to me. Seems very, very strange. You know, just to have the thought of someone being, you know, shot down, just banged on. Ayo, no diddy. just completely shut out. Just it's amazing. It's amazing. The stories that people, you know, say about the Bible and, you know, Jesus and God and all this. I mean, I respect you. I disagree with you wholeheartedly, but I respect you. I respect that. But like I said, I can question, I can probe, I can find a new understanding within your faith. The reason why there aren't, you know, angels that didn't descend upon Big U. They must have been on a smoking break or something. I don't know. They're just chilling behind a dumpster or something like that. You know, having a smoke break. I don't know. I mean, what is that? What is it? What that's what just gets to me. I mean, when people say, "Oh, the angels were around me, angels were watching over me, angels, God was looking out for me. I could have been hit and killed. I could have been shot to death. I could have been in a fiery furnace. I could have been in a blaze. I could have been, you know, toppled over. I could have been struck by a tree. The angels were they're guiding my places. But when the people get shot, you know, hit by a car, you know, killed, laid out, the angels weren't watching them. I mean, what is it? Are they selective? Do they have a personal preference for certain people? Is it word from on high? Like God's like, nah, we gotta take him out. You can fall back. Don't worry about saving these people. No, don't worry about them. Like, he's telling the angels that. I guess I don't know. The first thing that comes to mind in my head is September 11, 2001. The people that were obliterated, you know, in the planes. Everybody in the planes died. There were some people that survived, and the tower from the wake of the towers falling, the Pentagon, but all the planes, everybody died in the planes. So why weren't they spared? Jesus was just like, yeah, I need them. I need them up here. I don't need you guys down there. You know, come on back. I need you guys now. I don't. You don't need to live any longer on earth. You can come back. You can come up to here to heaven with me. That's the question I want to know. I want to know. Nobody comes to grips with these things. I haven't seen it anyway. The closest I've seen is Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand obliterates all of this because she asks like the question of altruism, which is associated with sacrifice. The greatest question of all time for altruism is why? Why should you sacrifice? Why should you give up your greatest values? Why? What is the reason for it? It just blasts it all away. And blasts it completely away. So it just is something that is very trying to the mind, to anyone who has regard or respect for thought, for rationality, for ethics, for morality. If you care about these things, you will definitely, register in your mind the difference between what it means to be sacrificial and have integrity. See, that's the difference. People think that things that are sacrifices, the brave, Marine, he guarded his whole platoon, that was under fire for 3.5 hours, lobbing grenades and mowing down the enemy, and took shrapnel to the face, took to an arm, and almost lost his leg, and whatever. That's a sacrifice. That's a sacrifice. No, it's not. It's integrity. It's integrity. It's you're saying that I'm not going to back down from a fight. I'm going to preserve the lives of my fellow Marines because I care about them, because they're my fellow Marines. They're mine. It's a selfish thing. You're selfish. They would never say that's selfish. They'll say, oh, well, that's selfless sacrifice. That's unselfish sacrifice. That's the only thing you'll hear. That's the only thing you'll hear. You're not going to hear anything close to it being the truth, which is integrity. They don't get to that part. They don't really delve into that reality. They don't get to that far point. It's really just sad. I mean, it's sad. Billions. I'm not talking about millions. I'm talking about billions of people actually believe that sacrifice is a virtue. That's something to attain. And what's ironic and weird is I went through Marine Corps recruit training to earn the title of Marine. There was no training. I don't remember. Maybe someone else can remember for me, but there was no training on how to jump on a grenade. I don't remember. I must have missed that day. I had my teeth, my wisdom teeth taken out. Maybe they were doing it during that day after the rappel tower. All right, recruits, you're gonna have to, jump on this not phony, not fake. I'm gonna say, simulated grenade. Everybody jump on the simulated grenade. Or just one person jump on the simulated grenade. I don't remember that day, and I don't think it ever happens. It never happens. I think they prime you in your brain. They wire you to say, hey, jump on the grenade. And I will jump on the grenade, but it's not going to be a sacrifice. You have values and virtues, and you value your virtues. That's what the key point is. You value those who you care about, who you love, who you take care of, who take care of you, who are special in your life, who are great and add value to your life. It's a selfish thing. You will never, it will be, I don't want to say never, because there could be a day, but I want it to be like for his selfish, actions in battle. I want to hear that when they present an award to somebody. I want to hear his self-interested actions led to the saving of lives. That's what I want to hear. I may not get to hear that though. May not, maybe. It depends. It depends what acceleration we do. If we have enough people, storming the beaches In the name of objectivism, hey, we might get there, but it's just a strong aversion to reality to say somebody is sacrificed for something else, you know? But I'm just asking, was Yui or Jabari Henley a sacrifice for the Dodgers to win the World Series? Did somebody have to die? Somebody, prominent or close to prominence had to perish in order for the LA Dodgers to get that championship? That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm asking. Who? Oh, Son of Sun 90 checking in. Who? Jabari Henley. Look it up. Big U. You know who Big U is, right? Son of Sun 90. And make sure you check out my article I wrote. It's at the top of the live chat. Big U Sun Gun Down. I'm doing double time, trying to get this money. Yes, Wizard, I appreciate that. You didn't you sent this, but I already, as you can see on the Big U Sun Gun Down, I wrote the article before, and I was prepared to do a video way before, but I appreciate you, Wizard. Sun 90 says, I can't read no articles for me. What do you mean? That's some really terrible English there, sir. I can't read no articles for me. What? So you can read articles for you? You use the double negative. What are you saying? I can't read no articles for me. What is that supposed to mean? I'm not sure. It's terrible diction, sir, by the way. But yeah, Jabari Henley shot down. Was it because he had to die so that the Los Angeles Dodgers could live? So I'm just thinking about a Los Angeles household, that knew Big Yui or Jabari Henley. Did they celebrate at the World Series? Did they find it bittersweet? What was their mental going into all this? What was their mindset? Saying he died on Halloween. I mean, and then November 1st is Dia de los Muertos. That was yesterday. And Sun 90, if you can't read I can't read, so I won't be reading your articles, basically. Okay, so you can read, you just choose not to read. That's what I'm saying. And if you can't read, just pass it on to somebody else then that can read. That's how you solve that problem. Well, do what you must, sir. You're a big boy. You'll figure it out. But I just asked, so is that how that works? How does sacrifice work? You have, they had sacrificial lambs. They had sacrificial everything, dogs, chickens, whatever. They sacrifice them to whatever, nothing that is tangible or visible or tactile, I should say, I think is the proper pronunciation. What is it? Because Jesus became the ultimate symbol of sacrifice. And it's like, I wonder why they don't give a sainthood to Judas Iscariot. Why don't they? What is wrong with Judas Iscariot being a saint? It should be a Saint Judas Iscariot. I think there's 2 Judases in the book. But Judas Iscariot was the one that sold out Jesus. If he didn't sell out Jesus, Jesus wouldn't be able to go to the cross. If he didn't go to the cross, he wouldn't be able to die. He wouldn't be able to die. He wouldn't be able to sin. He wouldn't be able to sin. He wouldn't have to free you from your sins. So Judas Iscariot is kind of like the quarter and the washing cycle of, saving sins. That's my little metaphor for you. He had the 30 pieces of silver. Then he hung himself because I hope I'm not spoiling anything for anyone, but he hung himself. And it's like, what happened? How do you equate that? How do you even get that? There should be a Saint Judas Iscariot. Son 90 says, why are you talking about something you don't believe in? You don't believe in God. Because billions of people do believe in God. That's why. Very simple. It's very simple. Billions and billions and billions of people believe in God. So I have to address it. And I have to address the question, was Huey or Jabari Henley just a sacrifice for the Dodgers to win the World Series? I wonder, is that how sacrifice works? Somebody tell me. Please let my dumb ass know. This ninja took some shots of holy water. No, never, never drank the holy water. But, I just want to know, where the sacrifice stop and where does it end? And when are people spared and when are people, condemned to death? No, he passed from sins of a father. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now we're getting to somewhere. But he also had sins on him. Wasn't just from sins of a father. I think I mentioned that in the article. But he passed from sins of a father from his own sins. He was connected to a murder charge himself. I think he was out on bail allegedly or something like that. But he had a death on his a murder on his name as well, on his own name, not just on Big U. Yeah. So is it really the sacrifice? Is this a sacrifice? If he had not died, would the Los Angeles Dodgers would they have crumbled? Would they have lost and the Blue Jays would have won? I mean, that's a hypothetical question, but is that reality? Is it reality that he's sacrificial? That he had to die in order for the baseball team to live? Because they were happy. They were joyous. They were jumping around. Some of them probably had news of him passing. They didn't care. They were throwing champagne around with the goggles on their faces. Son of Son 90 says, rocking power to baby you. No, this has nothing to do with them. Stop it. Why doesn't it have anything to do with them? Why should I stop it? Why? I ask you, Son 90. Why doesn't it have anything to do with them? If it's the same thing with Jesus. So you have to have, like I said, with Judas Iscariot. There should be a Saint Judas Iscariot. There should be not Saint Jude's, but Saint Judas Iscariot. Because without Saint Judas Iscariot, there's no resurrection of Christ. There's no salvation from sin. Son of Son 90 says, this is a wild conspiracy theory that comes from your medicine. It may be. I'm crazy like that. I'm crazy. I'm out there. I'm on some wild mess. But it's true. Nobody can answer these questions. Nobody can say definitively because it's all based on faith. It's not based on reality. Those are facts. You deal with facts. Fact, true. Not conspiracy theories. I dabble in conspiracisms. You always say that. Yes. I dabble in conspiracisms, though. I dabble in conspiracisms. I know they're not, exactly even close to being conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories kind of act like pseudosciences, like phrenology. That was a pseudoscience. They said like it had regions of the brain, like for love, for hatred, for animus, for evil, or whatever the case might be. Different parts of your brain. I mean, that was a false science, but it led to actual, discoveries that, certain sectors of your brain correspond to reasoning, functioning of your limbs, the different areas that have chemicals of like dopamine and serotonin, and there's neurotransmitters and things of that nature. Oh my goodness, here we go. You dabble in the pussy. Hey, honey. I do not dabble in the pussy. No, that is not true. Never have, never will. But thank you, son of the Sun 90. I appreciate your hatred. No, but it's like it's crazy. You can you say, oh well, he sacrificed and sacrificed. He gave his life and to better as a Marine. So he sacrificed. His Marines are still alive. Are they not selfish for being alive? And so they get what happens to them. They have survivor's guilt or remorse, and they consider drinking and drugging and maybe suicide or something like that, all because they have the reason why their fellow Marine has got a posthumous Medal of Honor or something like that. No. That's what I'm saying. It's hatred. It's hate. I'm not saying. That's why I said I appreciate it. I appreciate the jokes. It's funny. It's good. Ha ha. I knew what you were saying. You even put "Hey honey." That's funny. Hey ha ha. Hey honey. Honey. Trump talking about going to war with Nigeria. He's talking about going to war with Venezuela. That's what he's talking about. So very, 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 very weird kind of set of events. It really is. So, Jabari Henley, dead at 34 years of age. He had, a father that was very prominent within the hip hop or rap community. He, I don't know about, they didn't really go into details about his efforts. It just said he was the son of Big U, Henley. He was the brother of Davion Henley, the Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers football player. Son of Son 90 says Nigeria over there eliminate Christians. That's why he said he might send in the forces if the Nigeria government doesn't intervene. Well, that's obviously it. This is a mystified killer down for the cause, as Mr. Chorstar Terrain once described President Bush at one point. He's a mystified killer. Like most, if not all, but most presidents have been mystified killers. They use mysticism to justify their reasons for doing things. And is that a sacrifice? Is that sacrificial? Because Jabari Henley, he died on Halloween. If he had died the next day, would it have been any different? If he lived on to the next day, would the Dodgers have still won the World Series? I mean, when does it stop? When does it stop? God needed him more. Jesus needed him more. They have excuse for everything, that because it's not related to reality. They have an excuse for every single thing because it's not true. And they have to find some way to make themselves feel better in order to say that there is a God, there is Jesus, there is Moses, there is Muhammad, or whatever the case may be. And that just is a comfort thing. And I respect it. I don't like it. I abhor it. I deplore it. But I respect it. It's just a very it's a heavy burden that should be light. It's a heavy burden that should be light, because when you have somebody that comes from a prominent family, comes from wealth, who knows why he was walking on the street on probably around the area. Like I said, I think it was a 70. Let me make 100% sure. I'm trying to figure out who it is. Okay, there's a lot of Hoover gangs. This is crazy. I'm looking for it right now. I'm trying to find it. It's not showing, but it doesn't matter. It was a gang. It's a gang. It's a gang. Instead of signing up for the Marines or the Navy or Army or Air Force or Coast Guard or Space Force. Did I miss anybody? I think I said everybody. People or the biggest gang, the police, the boys in blue, the boys and girls in blue. They decided to be in street gangs. It's really sad. That's a sad thing. That's a really sad situation to be in a street gang, because it offers similar kind of ideals as the military and the police force. You have a sense of camaraderie. You have a sense of justice. You have a sense of purpose. You have something to live for. You have something that you might not die for it, but you could die, in a dangerous situation. But again, it's not a sacrifice. If you die in a situation that's very, fraught with peril, it's not because of, you defending somebody or something that was a sacrifice. The sacrifice would only be if you don't defend the something or someone. That would be a massive sacrifice. That's what has to be drilled into the heads of the young people that are coming up through the ranks now. And that's the irony I get from my own family. They're telling me it's like, oh, that could confuse them. That could confuse them. Well, you're telling them to say their grace for over their food. I remember having to say that God is great, God is good. Let us take him for our food, by since we all fed, give us Lord our daily bread. Amen. Okay. You used to say that every time I had a meal. I used to say it in school. I used to say it before, when I was just like right before I had my lunch. I thought it was the right thing to do because that's what I was taught. It's like snow. You know what I mean? These little tiny snowflakes can shut down a whole city. That's a fact. These little tiny thoughts can shut down your whole mindset if they accumulate over time until you get a blast of heat that just melts it all away. And that was Ayn Rand for me. And Mr. Choice Terrain, of course. Without Mr. Choice Terrain, there would be no Ayn Rand in my life. So I always have to give him credit for that. I think it's way the irony is overwhelming, because the confusion of whether well, why is this about why does everybody hate Judas Iscariot What if it wasn't for Judas Iscariot, there would be no Jesus to save my sins? Nobody ever talks about that. I'm talking about it right now. Nobody brings that up. Nobody. And without, Jesus' quote unquote sacrifice, people would crumble and cry. But without realizing that Judas Iscariot was the driving force behind the betrayal of Jesus and his role in becoming the Messiah, quote unquote, he wouldn't have the ability to be on that platform. He wouldn't have been able to get on the cross. He wouldn't have been able to bleed and die in the worst, most inhumane, just terrible, horrific way. It wouldn't have happened. So that's the reality that is always going to be around, but nobody wants to look at it. Nobody ever says hallelujah, thank you, Judas and the Iscariot in the name of the blood. But it was Judas Iscariot that gave up the money. Or he got the money. He got 30 pieces of silver. He gave up Jesus. He gave up his whereabouts. He gave up his information. Was that a sacrifice? I think not. If you want to say it's the ultimate sacrifice ever. It's the biggest sacrifice of all time, really. But again, people value it. It's high on the chart. But Jesus dying on the cross shouldn't be welcomed as something that is beneficial or good for the mind. It's terrifying. It's horrific. So I say again, was Huey, aka Jabari Henley, just a sacrifice for the Dodgers to win the World Series? Did they win the World Series because, as a fact, that Jabari was gunned down in the street? Is that the reason why? Did he die only to save the championship status of back-to-back winners of the franchise known as the Los Angeles Dodgers? How did this come up? How did this occur? How did this even begin to say anything? All right, let me do my banners. Visit .focus, DOTFOCUS _ on his YouTube channel and subscribe, like, and comment. If you enjoy Call of Duty and other first-person shooters, you will not be disappointed. Tell him that Silly Sky sent you. He's always looking for the pink mist. Visit LifeStrongApparel.com, LifeStrongApparel.com for your raw CMOS needs. Also, after making your selections, type in Skyler20, SKYLER20 as a promo to receive 20% off your purchases. Tell Mr. Pang Silly Sky sent you. Also, visit Beha Jackson's YouTube page and subscribe to learn more about sardines on the grill, fried chicken, near beer, and female strippers. Tell him Silly Sky sent you in the comments. And last but certainly not least, the lady of the house, subscribe to Z Therapy Holly Correnti on YouTube for all your Zumba needs. Move and groove to the rhythms and tell friends and family members to join in too. Tell her Silly Sky sent you. I'm going to put up my Venmo just to keep it pushing. Son of the Sun says, "Do your dad know you're a non-binary non-believer?" Well, I'm not a non-binary. I'm a full man. I never had the inkling to become a woman, or not, or a non-entity. Really, is a non-binary. First of all, what do you say when you're in the military? When you're non-binary, I don't think non-binary people can join the military. I don't know what they can do. Maybe they figure something out, but I don't know. You call them a Mur or a Sam? I don't know. Rick James spreading lies and rumors. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you for that. He said, "Sir, don't forget that Baja Blast Jackson was also a young Ice Cube doughboy on the historical black film Barbershop. Those are not facts. He usually has facts, but that's not a fact. That is hearsay and rumors and just non-truth. Close to the truth, he was the younger version of Doughboy, Ice Cube's character on Boys in the Hood, but not in Barbershop. Come on now. Get your mind right." Dot Focus does have good aim. Fact. He does have good aim. It's true. He's one with the sticks. He picks up the sticks and he knows to direct them. They're all the same. They're all what the same? Who's all the same? Rick James. Rick James says they're all the same. Who are all the same? All those black movies. No, they're actually not all the same. They're not all the same. They have different levels and different ideals that they deal with. Boys in the Hood, Barbershop, are we there yet? Friday. No, they're not all the same. Boys in the Hood has comedic elements, but is really a drama. Barbershop and Friday are primarily dramas with dramatic elements. So this is in my whole idea for the entire show. I didn't split up the show into different topics. I want to just ride on the same idea of sacrifice. It's all we know. Oh, he was so sacrificial. Oh, the mama was so sacrificial for her kids. Oh, the priest was sacrificial when he laid hands on the young boy's forehead. Like, it was such a sacrifice. It's like, and the mother of all sacrificial figures is Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa was a horrible, terrible human being. She did not live to get greatness in her life. She did not live to be wonderful, reap the material goods of the world. She wanted people to suffer only so much so as they don't get healthy. She only wanted them to be healthy enough to not die. That's what her whole aim was. It came out that Mother Teresa was an SA abuser. I didn't know about that. That's not facts on this show. I can't call that. But Mother Teresa used them kids. Well, we don't know about that. I have no record. I have no facts to back that up. So that's your words, Rick James. Those are your words. But yeah, so I'm just gonna say, I mean, why not? Why couldn't Jabari Henley have been sacrificed for the LA Dodgers to win the World Series? Why not? There's a sacrifice for everything else. Everybody else has a sacrifice, but he wasn't sacrificed. How does the sacrifice work? If you ever seen the film The Wicker Man, you know what the sacrifice was. Have you ever seen the movie Midsummer? You know there's a sacrifice involved. If you ever read the Bible, you know there's a sacrifice involved. It's a pretty huge sacrifice. And I think it's interesting. We're entering the Christmas season, and I still am baffled by the fact that they tell the story backwards. They have Easter during the calendar year, and then they have Christmas in the later part of the year. When in fact, historical documents point to the idea that Jesus was born in the springtime. So that's when they should really have Christmas. And then Easter should be around the time we mark for Christmas. And Easter should be bigger. The birth of Jesus is way bigger. It's way more. So sacrifice is insidious, but it's not. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to happen, and it doesn't have to be viewed in the same way. People view sacrifice as a virtue. They view it as something that's good. They say it like it's a pain thing. It's horrible. It's horrific. It's terrible. But it's really supposed to be for the good. It's really for the good. Just like Jesus dying on the cross. It's really for the good. It's for our salvation of sins. We commit sins. We have sex. That's unclean. That's why Mary had the immaculate conception by the Holy Spirit, allegedly. Of course he didn't, but the fact, in the idea in the Bible still remains. Rick James, we're not going to talk about the Dalai Lama right now. I think he does consider sacrifice, and Buddhism is one of the leading faiths in the world. And I think the first thing that comes out of Buddha's mouth is life is about suffering or something like that. Like that'd be the first thing that says, you know what, I'm good. Let me find the door on that. Yeah, I think I covered that before, and if not, Mr. Troy Star Terrain covered it before. So. That's it, though. That's the reality. 5 people in the room. Are we shy? Let's see some one-ups. Okay. It was tongue, sir. Oh, I don't know about that. And if you see 5 people, maybe there are 5 people. I only see 4. I see 4. I only see 4. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that's not for here. See, I guess we could talk about it, though, because is that a sacrifice? Was he sacrificing their lives for his, his ability to kiss them or something like that? I don't know. It's very. It's untoward for me. It's very. That's to put it lightly. I would say it's disgusting. He sacrificed his saliva. Well, I would say it's disgusting. That's the only thing I can say about it. It's disgusting. Because you talking about confusing kids. That's gonna really confuse. That's the same thing that happens with these young boys and these priests. That confuses them because they're like, there's a priest. He's like the man of God. He's everything. He tells the stories. He tells whatever. How am I gonna go against him? How am I gonna not let him touch me? He's supposed to touch me. It's like, and that's how it messes up people's minds. It messes up the young people's minds. Young kids. It's a power move. Yeah, I guess so. I guess it is a power move. It's sad, really. It really is sad because that's the nature of faith as well. They can trick and say everybody, well, Jesus really would want you to do this. He would love you even more if you were to get on your knees or, go on fours or something like that. Like, just horrific, horrendous, ugly, disgusting behavior. And what do they do with the priest? They send him to another parish somewhere across the country so he can do the same thing to other kids. But how anybody could still be in the Catholic Church, I don't know. Somebody in the Baptist Church, I don't know. Anybody that's corrupt and ugly and disgusting and does these horrific deeds and misdeeds, that's just on their consciousness, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember hearing too much about, the priests. Like, nobody really, like, they had the movie called Spotlight, and it was based on a book. I can't remember the name of the book where I read the book, but it was really graphic too. I was like, I can't read all of this. But yeah, so I remember when Sandusky, I said I'm about to say Bam Dusky. Sandusky, Jerry Sandusky of Penn State had the coursing around the showers with the little boys. Like, that's not what you do. You do nothing even remotely close to that. Nothing even close to that. Rick James says, if you want to learn about the power moves of the church, I recommend everyone to watch Life with Grandpa. Oh God. See? Rick James, come on, man. That was a good troll, though. Yes, son of Son 90. Yes, my dad knows I have no faith. But I don't like to use the negative. I have reason. And it's a shame that atheism or non-believers have to say that instead of saying affirmative. That's why I like to say I'm an objectivist, because it's a positive. It's a positive reading rather than saying, "Oh, I'm an atheist" or "I'm a non-believer," because those are the negatives. But they're true, but they're just negatives. Objectivism stresses or emphasizes the positive. Yes, that was a movie made by the church, sir, but it's not really material that I would suggest people watch this to understand the role of the church. I would say, like I said, watch the movie Spotlight. Let me see what the book was called. Hold on. Matter of fact, I think I can see it. Do I have it? Man, that's what it's called. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. I don't know where I put it. I don't know. Oh, Betrayal. That's what it is. It's called Betrayal, Crisis in the Catholic Church. Radio Hawkins, hey, salutes. How are you, sir? Make sure you hit that app, that Cash App. Read the story. Make sure you read that, Radio Hawkins. Make sure you get your read on. It's only like 600 words. It's not that long. 600 words or so. Not that long. All we hear is Radio Hawkins. Radio Gaga. Radio Goo Goo. Just dropped $58 on Uber Sky. Let me hold 20. You have to, do some heavy lifting. You have to make sure 58 people get that story. Make sure 58 people know about this lot. And when I get 58 people in my live, that's when I'll give you 20. I'll let you hold 20. And if it was all because of you, if you did it, and there's 58 plus people in my live, you got $20. Trust me, you can hold me to that. I'll stand on that. 10 toes down on business. Just click. I'll read it when you're done streaming. Thank you, Radio Hawkins. Appreciate it, sir. And if you do find it to be of any quality, make sure you share it. Make sure you let other people know. Don't just keep it to yourself. Make sure you share it if you do find it to be of quality. But salute to you, Radio Hawkins. I appreciate it. Salute to you. Will Smith is in my city. Oh my God. Okay. Where is your city, Radio Hawkins? I forget. I think you told me before, but I don't remember. Oh, it's from my city. Oh, you're saying he's from Philly? Yeah. I thought he was in your city. I'm sorry. What? Will Smith is from my city. So West Philadelphia, born and raised. You gotta watch the show Abbott Elementary. Great show. Excellent show. Excellent show. So what do you think, Radio Hawkins? Was Yui or Jabari Henley a sacrifice for the Dodgers to win the World Series? Oh, the Dodgers, Will Smith. Oh my God. That's right. Yeah, you're right. Oh, see, they should have that. They should have that. Whoever came first, I think his is William Smith, and I think the actor is Willard Smith. So, what is your city, Radio Hawkins? I know you're probably going to have like some kind of parade for him or something like that. I'm just asking the question, was this a sacrifice? Was this all a sacrifice? And how far do sacrifices go? Who has the answer for that? Who has the answer for as many sacrifices that occur? Louisville, Kentucky. Okay. Gotcha. Louisville, Kentucky. This was not a sacrifice. I wish you stopped saying. Well, it's part of the title, so it's always going to be there. How was it not a sacrifice, Son the Sun 90? Explain it to me, please. Break it down to me like I'm a 5-year-old or like I'm Barney style. Please break it down, Son the Sun 90. How was this not a sacrifice? Please explain that to me. How is Jesus on the cross bleeding and dying and struggling, and that's a sacrifice, but this isn't a sacrifice? How does that work? How does that function? Please let me know. Sins of a Father should have been a title, but Sins of the Father would have been only half of the story. The other half of the story that he has his own bodies associated with him. So it's not just the sins of the Father. And I think other people are even putting that, possibly. Probably putting, big U, sins fall upon Son or something crazy like that. But I just wanted to do something that nobody's probably going to do. So I wanted to make it special. There's 5 people. All we need is 5 more people. We got a party. He got those bodies because of his father. Are you sure about that, Son the Sun 90? Could you give me updates? Could you give me facts and research based on that? Because what I got was that he had a body related to him, and it was not too long ago. It was like in 2023 or 24, I think. You were with it. Son of Son 90 says, I was with him when he caught him. You were with Jabari Henley when he caught the body. Is that what you're saying? You were rolling deep. But Los Angeles Dodgers. I see you got over 1,000 subs, Scott. Yes, might be late. Might be late, but salute, and you deserve it for the quality content. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, it's a while. It's a long road. It took me just about 2.5 years to get to 1,000. I'm gonna see what it gets to in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. See where I get. You as the driver. That's how we flipped your truck. What? You was the driver. That's how we flipped your truck. Who's we? What are you talking about, son of Son 90? Where are you going? Where are you going? I understand. I told you I'm slow. I get things real slow. But anyway, I still hold on to the idea that people think that the wrong things are sacrifices and the right things that should be classified as sacrifices, they don't see them as such. They don't see them as such. You were the getaway driver for the hit that we did with Big Use. Okay, now he's just doing fantasy. Okay. Okay, now he's took it back. Son of Son 90 is dabbling into fantasy now. But like I said, here's the hypothetical question. If the Dodgers had lost, would Yui still be alive? If they had lost the game, would they still be alive? Would he still be alive? That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm talking about with sacrifice. He was sacrificed so that they could win. They could live. Radio Hawkins says, "Man, I feel like it's been a minute since I caught you live. Are you live daily? I try to be as much daily. Try to be live as daily as you can. You can go back in the other posts. I have posts about the trials of Alicia Andrews. I was talking about Sean Grayson. I was talking about a lot of different judicial proceedings." He's a roach to that organization. Okay. I can see if they sacrifice Snoop. Okay. Oh. Okay. Son of Son 90 throws those four-seam hot, fastballs. Ayo, no diddy. But, if it was Snoop, that'd be huge. They'll be still doing news coverage. He's deep. He's in The Voice. He's got video. He's got commercials. He just bought Death Row. Snoop is a legend in the street, no matter how you look at it. No matter how you look at it. That would have been, okay, so now it's 6 people in here. Okay, now it's we're getting close to a party. You need 4 more people and we got a party. Get 4 more people. Just grab somebody, tell them to get on their phone. Get accounted for, I guess. Yeah, that's a good point though, Son of Son 90. I like that. If they had sacrificed Snoop, oh my God, that would have been whoo. That would have been a sacrifice. That would have been an actual, factual, no question sacrifice. Because from what I understand, these gangs, like the gang that I was mentioning, hold on, let me make sure I get it right. I'll make sure I get it right. The 7483 Hoovers. 7483 Hoovers are a street gang that are against, I understand, both Crips and Bloods. If I understand it correctly, 7483 Hoovers are against Crips and Bloods. Radio Hawkins says, I caught you earlier this week streaming a court trial, and that girl that was on the defendant was a dime piece. I wouldn't say she was a dime piece. On my level, I'm not really into light-skinned girls that much. I dated a light-skinned girl. It was like a tragedy. But I like dark-skinned, petite, cute in the face. That's my speed. If you think she's a dime piece, that's your goal, sir. That's go and get that goal. That's on you. She was 4 at best. Son of Sons 90 says. She was a G though. She was a G. The whole trial, she was looking like she was bored in class, like she was twiddling her hair and had her hands in her sleeves. Then she was on the stand with the blue blazer, or the blue jacket with the white trimming. And, she was like answering questions. Yep. Come to find out, she lied to law enforcement. She lied to all these people and everything. The jury gave her a lesser charge. She was supposed to get life in prison, but she got, who knows what she's going to get when she gets sentenced, but it's going to be not life in prison. She got a manslaughter charge. She'll be out in 5 years probably, something like that. Probation, time served, all that. Yeah, she was found guilty. She was found guilty of manslaughter. It was a lesser charge. She had murder in the first degree and conspiracy to commit murder. She got off. She's not gonna get 25. 10 hard years. She's pretty. She's not unattractive. Wait a minute. She's not unattractive. Yeah. She actually is kind of attractive, but them girls in them behind them prison walls are not nice. They are not nice. They're not friendly. They're gonna do all kinds of things. Yeah, she showed no emotion. I told you she took it like a G. She had the same facial expression the whole time. There was one time when she giggled a little bit at something, and then she returned to that face, that dead face, just whatever. Yeah, okay. Ooh, so what? What was her role in the crime? I said she was allegedly a conspirator for murder and murder in the first degree. She was supposedly allegedly supposed to get that, but the only thing that stuck was manslaughter. That's all she had. Hey, I appreciate that, Radio Hawkins. Thank you, sir. He says your channel is the only reason I know who she is. LOL. They might autograph her face in jail. Yeah, they could do a lot of things to her. They could take her, her what's it called? Her what's it called? Oh God, commissary. They'll take her chips and her Chips Ahoy and her top ramen. And they'll put menstrual blood in it. They'll do nasty stuff. They'll do disgusting stuff to her. Allegedly, I'm not trying to wish this upon her. I'm just saying this could happen to her because she's not. I mean, she's not like a brolic, heavy, set. She's kind of dainty, kind of light skin, hair, long, curly hair and everything. She's probably not built for prison, but she'll figure it out. Like I said, she like Radio Hawkins said. She had no emotion. She was just straight face. She was straight face. Was she a sacrifice? I mean, anything could be a sacrifice. What is a sacrifice? I mean, she sacrificed so that, who didn't go to jail. There was probably somebody else that did know something else about the case, but didn't go to jail because she was the sacrificial lamb. I would not put money on her books. Son to Son 90 said, would you put money on her books? I would not. Why would anyone put money on her books? Really, at this point. She's a half a cute chick with, very little prospects now in life. She's a convicted felon. What is she going to do? Was she in school? Was she going to? She was living at home at 22 years old. Nothing wrong with that. But what was she doing? Was she involved in anything besides criminality? Was she sacrificed for Kodak Black to get a feature with Pharrell Williams? I don't know. That's a good point. I don't know where sacrifice goes. Excuse me. How far does sacrifice go? Son to Son 90 says, you need to do a show on that Netflix documentary. It's kind of late now. So why would I need to do a show on it if it's kind of late now? I'm trying. You see where it says in the middle? Trending topics. Things that are going on right now. Trending. I try not to do anything too late. Sometimes I will go back in time, but I try to keep it up to date as much as I possibly can. Yeah, it's about letting them in her neighbor. I've been watching that. I started watching it when she was talking about how the kids were in her yard and around her truck or something like that, and how she was cussing them out or something. Yeah, I was watching that. I'm watching it. Thank you for that, Son to Son 90. I appreciate it. I'm in the middle of watching it right now. Yeah, I like it. It's different. It's not a lot of talking heads. I like talking heads, but I just like a change, I like a little shift. Yeah, it's not a lot of people sitting in chairs or anything like that. It's just raw footage, edited together to make it into a story. That's pretty cool. It reminds me of the Blair Witch Project almost. There's not really a lot of too much. It's a lot more camera work more than anything else. A lot of footage, a lot of video, a lot of things to see and hear. I feel like the mother should have told her kids to stop going on that side of the street, even though the other neighbor said it is okay. Well, you just spoiled it for me. I haven't gotten to that point yet. But no, that's cool. I'm just joking. You can spoil it if you want. It's not even fictitious. Even if it was fictitious, you could spoil it for me. I'm good. Yeah. So. I definitely want to have the idea that sacrifice is completely evil. It is vicious. It is nasty. It is ugly. Sacrifice is not a good thing. It is never a virtue. And it's completely arbitrary. Just like I said, this is why I said in the title. I mean, I try to think of something so arbitrary and ridiculous, but that's what sacrifice calls for. Like, there's a link. Like, how do you link someone dying on a cross as being a sacrifice and you being saved from your sins? What does one thing have to do with the other? Like, how do you equate that? What is someone dying on the worst, capital punishment level I shouldn't say cross. I say a post. Post. I correct myself now. A post. Dying on a post. How is that at all linked to you having your sins washed away? Which is funny too, because this is that idea of white is better than black. Took my black sin, dipped it in red blood, and came out white as snow. Like, that's automatically saying that black isn't right. I'm going into the Muhammad Ali kind of connotation. He said, "Oh, now you know it's this devil's food cake and this angel's food cake. The devil's food cake is black. The angel's food cake is white." Like he was always like examining that. Everything black was terrible. You have to watch the movie with him, Marlon Wayne. Oh, him, yeah, him. I definitely gotta watch that. Yeah, is that on Netflix too? I gotta check that out. Marlon Wayne. It's Wayans. Oh, I know. Yeah. Okay, I'm not even gonna repeat that. I'm not gonna repeat that, but we'll see about that. I appreciate it. Son to Son 90. Thank you for that information. Ah. Man, if you ever come to Louisville, Kentucky, let me know and we'll go on to the Muhammad Ali Museum. Yeah, he is from Kentucky, isn't he? The lip from Louisville. Make sure you use an old device. I was gonna say, yeah, they'll track you and they'll get you. But I'm not gonna. That's okay. I'll wait till it gets on a streamer. I pay too much for these damn streamers anyway, so I might as well watch it legally. But that's not the only reason. It's morally. I think Star know about that website. Yeah, I knew a few websites. But no, I'm saying they could. I'm not even gonna say what Son to Son 90 said, but I'm just gonna say they could. If they really were on radio, they probably have like a setup of like a million different users, and they'll pick out 50 or so, and then just use them as examples. Probably that's what I'm guessing they would do. I don't know, but I'm not in that life anymore. I'm in the streamers. I used to do it before I had streamers, so let that be known. That's weird. Well, rent it on YouTube, iTunes. Yeah, on iTunes, right. Another topic? No. If you got another topic, I'll go after it. But I like this one topic right here. It's all about sacrifice. That's all you're gonna hear from athletes. He's so selfless. His sacrifice in the gym, it's just amazing. She's so sacrificial. She doesn't care about herself. She makes sure her other teammates are playing well. So sacrificial. That's all you hear. That's all you hear. It's all about sacrificing for others, doing for others. What are others here for? You're supposed to sacrifice and sacrifice and sacrifice. Why are there others? They're here to reap those sacrifices. Is that all what life is about? How do you get to that level? How do you get to a point where you say, You know, he's so selfless. He's so unselfish. He's so sacrificial on the field. I mean, that's just in the sports realm, and then there's in real life. The police officer, oh, she sacrificed her body so that the young children could live. Wasn't a sacrifice. Imagine if she put the kids in front of the bullets. That would be a sacrifice. Like, we're so backwards. We live in a reverse culture. We live in a perverse culture. Everything is backwards. And we just keep on, looking at it as nothing wrong. We keep going on. We just keep going along like everything is cool. Like everything is all right. Yeah. Sacrifice, it's great. Nobody, like, you don't want to sacrifice, but you have to sacrifice, kind of thing. Like, Jesus didn't want to die on the cross, but he had to die on the cross. He didn't say, "Oh boy, I'm gonna get betrayed by my friend, and Pontius Pilate's gonna say, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna go on the cross, on the post, and I'm gonna be experiencing the worst death possible. I can't wait. This is gonna be great. This is so wonderful." It's just like, this is what my Father in heaven wants to do. "Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. Why have you forsaken me? Into your arms forsaken me." Have you ever talked that atheist talk with your father congregation? Not with the congregation, no. Wait, do they have any suspects in this case? I have not noticed any. They just reported on his death. I have not had any updates on any leads. And the only thing they said were that people ran off into the night. And there was no witnesses or there were no suspects, excuse me, that were involved in the case. There may have been witnesses, though. I'm not going to say that. But yeah, why couldn't that be a sacrifice? Why couldn't that be a sacrifice? I don't understand. I don't understand. I think that if we have as many people involved in sacrifice and sacrifice after sacrifice, we'll finally figure out like a day. Hey, wait a minute! Sacrifice can't be good. It's not good for anybody. It's not good for the person being sacrificed. It's not good for the people that are collecting sacrifices. Because that's the thing too. Everybody loves Jesus. Oh, I love Jesus. Jesus. He grab the wheel, Jesus. That's all right. Jesus is just all right with me. Why? Because you're selfish. He died for my sins. I have a personal relationship with him. It's all selfish, but it's quote unquote selfish. It's a mass selfishness. It's not a true selfishness. Oh, hallelujah. Oh my God. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, you're thanking him because he saved your ass. In your eyes, anyway. He's saving yourself from damnation. Which is, like I said, amazing how we even care about morality that much. We just have an immorality in the sense of people that believe in sacrifice, not necessarily the faiths. That's more of a mental kind of thing. It's a psychological weakness, as Ayn Rand once said. People wait till they get older or sick to run to religion. Facts on facts on facts. On the Sun 90, yeah. When people get older, they start looking at the time, that clock, and they're like, well, I got less years in me than I have more. I'm be checking out pretty soon. I don't want to spend my days, swimming in the lake of fire. I want to be walking up with Jesus and praising him all day long. There is no night. I can praise him to the morning, and the morning just stays there. You know, just whatever. It's really sad. You know, these are grown people. These are grown-ups, adults, and they still believe this stuff. That's scary to me. Me personally, I like to live a selfless and selfish life. See, that's the problem. Again, we have to put oil with water. Oil doesn't mix with water, sir. Son of Sun 90 says, me personally, I like to live a selfless and selfish life. That's oil and water. Either you're oil or you're water. You can't be both. Faith is this a very potent tool. That's all it has been for centuries, for millennia. It's been a potent tool for making people to adjust. The late great George Carlin said it was this. You have to stand in awe of faith because of its BS. It's a steaming pile of red, white, and blue BS. Selective on who I'm selfish to. You really have to earn things around me, if that makes sense. Well, so you should be selfish completely. You don't have to be selfless at all. You just have to be selfish. And like you said, that's a good point. You have to earn. You're not just automatically given, respect. You're not automatically given recognition, or you're not automatically given, values. You have to earn your values. Biblically. Yes, thank you, Radio Hawkins. Biblically. Yeah, so like I said this all before. I respect people that believe in the faith. That's your thing. I was one of those people that believe in faith. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Radio Hawkins said, Sky is the Seventh-day Adventist religion, the most biblically correct? I don't know. I would imagine they're all under the same umbrella of rationality. So they just correspond to different things on an irrational level, depending on what they have. So I still say the question, if Jabari Henley was laid out in order for LA Dodgers to win a World Series championship, I want to know. I want to know. I honestly want to know. I just want to know. Somebody tell me. I think Son of the Sun 90 was trying to knock it into my thick skull, but I'm too slow to realize it. But I just want to know the sacrifice that had to have happened for him to ascend into the bosom of Abraham. Because that's another thing. How come he's not yelling up from hell, in complete pain? Sun 90 says, wasn't you a Muslim? It looks like you have a Muslim small hat on in that picture with the stars as the background. I have no idea what you're talking about, sir. He's small potatoes. Of course he's small potatoes, but the idea is big. It's a big idea. Margaret Garner was small potatoes, and then she became huge. The idea of her became big. Look up Margaret Garner real quick. Oh, who's Margaret Garner? So I think that if you say that Jabari Henley was part of some, idea of sacrifice, then that would be proper in today's world, right? I mean, how could you deny it? How could you deny the idea? I shouldn't say the fact. The idea that he died so that the LA Dodgers could win the World Series, win the championship, back to back. I just don't understand. I don't get it. It's weird. They would have got rid of a giant like Dr. Dre or Eddie Murphy. Yeah. If that was a sacrifice, okay, I kind of see what you're saying. But this is kind of like a lamb. He was a sacrificial lamb. He wasn't Jesus, the Lamb of God, but he was just a lamb. He was just put him on the pyre, flay his flesh, shear him and flay his flesh, and let the blood drip, and then put him on the fire. He wasn't Jesus. No, he was not. He was not. Like Nipsey Hussle was close. Nipsey Hussle was close. If he had a longer career, if he had lived, he would have been. I just scanned that. Southern Sun 90 says, "How do you feel about the Benny the Butcher and Freddie Gibbs?" I'm saying feud. He says beef, but I say feud. I see you posted. Yeah, I posted in my section. Yeah, I want Benny the Butcher and Freddie Gibbs to make it. I do too. They dropped the fire snippet. Yeah, I was kind of surprised. I was like, Benny the Butcher, Freddie Gibbs, what? And Freddie Gibbs was going at somebody else before, and I can't remember who it was. But Benny the Butcher, he's one of the best. He's in Griselda. He's in, Conway this Machine, West Side Gun. That's what I'm going after. The Buffalo Boys, they're cool. I like Coke Rap. Stove. Stove was. Oh my God, Stove God Cooks. Like that's what I just love. Coke Rap. I love crack rap. Anything's talking about selling weight, moving from state to state, bagging up to work at the Ramada. I'm in. Freddie Gibbs is the problem. I feel like he's always the aggressor. Okay. Yeah, Freddie Gibbs gets in a lot of he gets in trouble like Cameron gets into trouble. He gets into trouble with people, He gets in trouble kind of like how 50 Cent gets in trouble with people too. Freddie Gibbs was going at the rapper Currency from Currency from New Orleans because Currency didn't promote the album. People keep saying they like Stove God Cooks, but he only does features. He's got a whole project, sir. He doesn't have that. He doesn't. Yeah, you're true. He doesn't have too many features, that many features as you said. But he has Reasonable Drought. That's one. He's mainly flowing off of that. He's flowing off of Reasonable Drought. That was the truth. I love that. That's when I was first, got wind of him. I was like, "What? Who is this light skinned nigga talking about, moving work, bagging up at the, at the motor lodge and selling that good stuff all on the street." So got on the Clips album with his monumental break. Yeah. Got a hold what did he say? He said, I think he said something like the work so strong, you gotta do cook it with one eye closed, something like that. Still God looks soft. He looks like an R&B singer. He does look like he wouldn't be selling like drugs. I know what you mean, Son of Sun 90. He doesn't have that that look. He's fair skinned. He's got the braids all in place. He looks like he looks like an R&B singer. Bomba in the house. Free Rory from Potato Purgatory. Are you familiar with the topic, sir? We're talking about sacrifice today. Sacrifice. Was Yui just a sacrifice for the Dodgers to win the World Series? He looked like a bodega baby. He looked like Jay Holiday little brother. Yes. That's true. He does. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. Jay Holiday. What the hell happened to him? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Eh, eh, eh. That was the song, though. That was 2007. 18 years ago. It's crazy. I'm gonna put you to bed, bed, bed. That was a cut for that summer 07. Come on now. If you don't remember that, you're young. You got some youth on you. Son to Son 90 remembers that, I'm sure. I think that's what the 90 stands for, the 1990. I could be wrong. You can correct me if you like. But yeah, he does look like Jay Holiday. That's funny. And he's very soft spoken. He's not like aggressive and strong. He's just laid back in the cut, you know. To end things, to find some conclusion here, I asked the question only to get clickbait. That's it. You know what? Oh, sacrifice. What? I don't know what's wrong with people when they say they're against clickbait. It's like, oh, we're fishing, but we're not using bait. Like, what are you doing? You say, no. You were born in 1990, and that bed was made in 2007. That's what you can correct me if I'm wrong on that. I think that's what the 90 stands for in your name. And I could be wrong though. You can correct me. But like I was saying, you know, what was I saying? Yes, this just clickbait. It's like, oh, it's just clickbait. You know, yes, clickbait. What do you think I'm supposed to do? Just have a random title that doesn't make any sense and that's not going to draw people? Of course. So I put bait out there so you can click on it and get the information. It's actually good stuff. I actually have good content. Apparently, people find out about certain things. According to Radio Hawkins, he didn't even know about the case until I presented it. The Julio Fulio case, Florida versus the state of Florida versus Alicia Andrews. Son of Son 90 says, no, I caught my first 5 bodies in the 90s. I'm sure. I'm sure you're talking about. Are you talking about young women? Is that what you're talking about? Your first 5 bodies in the 90s? But yeah. So to conclude, I just have to remind people that sacrifice is not a virtue. It's never been one. It's not a good thing. I'm saying all understatements. It is horrific. It is atrocious. It is terrible to mind, body, and soul of an individual. It leans on altruism, which is completely evil and corrupt. And a lot of people say, oh, that's altruistic. Oh, that's selfless. Oh, that's unselfish. Oh, it's so good. Oh my God. And they're not realizing how, toxic and poisonous altruism actually is and sacrifice actually is. Once we realize the day that, we don't need to have faith in God, we don't need to have any ideals associated with him, that will be a day of reckoning. And it's very sad and scary once you look at the history. History is creepy because it's like you can't go back in the past. You can only go forward in the future. And we may get to a point where we can, travel in the future. There's a possibility where you can travel in the future, but you definitely can't go in the past. So, like I said, to wrap up, just contemplate this question, send it out, have other people understand it, read it, like it, comment on it, share. And I appreciate everyone that came in this room today. We have Rick James, Radio Hawkins, Bumba. We have, of course, Son of the Sun 90. So I appreciate that. Appreciate everybody that came in here. And I will see you sometime tomorrow, maybe in the morning. Not too sure. But I will be present at some time with a story. And I hope to see you soon. Take care.